entirely too young because your body has not developed yet. But we do know back in the older days, people had children at 13 and 14 years old. But being a nurse myself, those 14 and 16-year-old women was prone to cervical cancer. So that is something that we as mothers and people that really know about it need to share that. That is just entirely too young.
See, that's something that most women wouldn't know. So.
Yeah.
What about you,
You know, I definitely think it's too young. Let me just say that. However, I do believe that we have to be mindful of kind of where people come from, how people are raised, and you know, although you know something may be normal to all of us, or not normal to all of us, it may be very normal, especially in an Amish community. In an Indian community where some of their brides get married very young. So I think that it's important to at least keep an open mind. I mean, I know 16 is extremely young, but to keep an open mind of where other cultures come in and, you know, just different perspectives of how you were raised.
I've dealt with that, those things, those issues you just talk, and most of the time the reason for that is because they don't have the education behind with you having sex that early. And I'm like you, I'm not here to judge anybody, but I do believe that we as a people get out in the community and get this information out, then they would at least have something to go on.
Well, I feel like it's too young, especially if you're, especially if you are messing with a grown man. If you're messing with a grown man, I think you should be at least 18 or older if you want to be with somebody that's going to be significantly older than 16, over 21, or however old that you want to date. Because like y'all said, it's some little girls 15 that has a 30-year-old boyfriend. It was just normal then, you know, but I don't think it's right.
Personally, I'm 50-50 on the topic, just because I feel like personally that's an age where you're learning yourself, you're learning your body, you're learning about your sexuality, you're exploring things. And you should be able to do that freely without, I wouldn't say without consequence, but without feeling like you're doing something wrong. But at the same time, it kind of puts you in a dangerous place because you're prey now. You're being looked at by these grown men.
Yes.
You're now in their radar because it's okay for them. You're now at this legal age where you can decide who you want to have sex with, you know, even though I believe at 20, if they're older than 21 or something, or older than 18, there's that stipulation, but still, it still puts you on their radar. And it's conflicting, especially as a woman. Maybe it's a little different for a young boy or a young man because it's not that danger
I don't think
necessarily for them, or it's not as common of a danger. I won't say they don't have that danger because that's not true, but it's just not as common.
I would agree with each and every last one of you guys, but I'm on a health tick, and because I've lost about at least 7 women in my family from cervical cancer, and all of them had sex before the age of 18, and you're right. But like she said, some of us come from families, like you say, that's normal. And I do believe if the education get out there about that, when you know better, you would do that.
That's definitely a fact, because I don't think any of us thought about the health factor of it, or even knew. I didn't personally know that having sex at a young age exposes you to any type of cancer. That's not something you would know. Like, that would be something, that would be a big factor for, you know, a young girl deciding to have sex.
And I think when I do approach it, because I had to teach those classes, I would never come in a condemnation way, condemning or judgmental, because I do not know where these people come from.
Right.
But I will come with them with compassion and concern that we're losing too, especially in the black race. We're very prone to cervical cancer. And I don't want to see any more women dying because they just did not know. And a lot of these women was just didn't know. They just didn't know, and their mothers didn't know. But now that we get the information out, we have a responsibility to make sure that we go into these communities where people don't get this information so they can share it, so we don't have to continue to be burying our loved ones behind cervical cancer, because you don't have to die from cervical cancer now. When you I would say that we need to just do better. But if you know you're not going to be able to talk to somebody in a compassionate way, then that might not be the person that needs to talk to that person, pointing them to someone that will be sympathetic with them.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
You know, I think just to kind of touch on what she was saying, well, like I said, I think 16 is a little young, but the state of Georgia has given our young babies the permission to make the decision, right? So I think as long as they have the will or the free will to be sexual, I think at least by that age, I believe most 16-year-olds are curious about it at that point. And I think it's really, again, just about the education and the knowledge. So it's like, you know, it's kind of that thing, it's like, you know, I'm learning as a mom that, you know, what worked when I was a kid with my mother ain't working with my kids, right? So my mom said, don't have sex. If you do, I'ma kill you, right? You know, that was kind of the deal. Where really, what I'm trying to educate my children on is, you know, I would prefer that you wait. If you don't, let's talk about it.
Right.
Yes,
Let's
absolutely.
be educated. Let's be informed. I think when you start to say, "Don't do it because I told you so," this ain't the era for that, because the kids are gonna do it anyway. And I would rather them, if they're gonna do it, because at 16 they have the choice, that they be educated.
And it didn't work then, and that
It ain't gonna work now. That's right.
All right.
Cherry London's Pussy Corn Chips, available on iTunes, Apple Music, and all digital platforms on August 1st. Pre-sale start July 4th.
Again, trying not to be in a judgmental space.
That's right.
When you look at a woman who jumps from man to man, first of all, anyone who's with somebody, that person is a reflection of you.
Yes.
Right? And so if you're constantly, you know, with a, you know, I ain't gonna throw nobody's name out there, but if you constantly, you know, you with a man, and we all know with the girlfriends who with a man this week or with a man next week, or with a man this day and with another man tomorrow, I think that is a lack of self-awareness, because I think that at that point, when you can, like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I can't even date, you know, these new girls, you know, I don't need one, I need two bays, you know, they all in the rap songs, and, oh, if he don't do it, then I'm gonna get my side boo. Let me tell you something, I ain't really good at lying, for real. So I ain't the candidate to have one or two, you know, two men at one time. But if I did, it would be very hard for me to be kissing on one day, and then even a week later, be kissing on a total different man. I just think that for me is a lot of transference, especially as COVID, you know, got the Omarion out here touching on folks.
Me personally, I feel that I'm not going to micromanage anybody. So the bottom line is, as an adult, you have the right to do what you want to do. And that's my take. If, you know, you're an adult, if that's what they want to do, if she want to have 30 men, it has no bearing on me. That's her choice. Maybe later down the line she'll see something different, but I am not going to micromanage anybody.
Well,
Now nobody be mad at me now.
Just be
Y'all
real.
know my opinion is.
Keep it real.
But personally, I feel like we're human beings. We have a natural attraction to whoever it is, the opposite sex, same sex, whoever. We have a natural attraction to people, and we have natural energy transference. You can have one person that you date, that you have enjoyed all your time with for 3 months. And then you see them react to something and you decide you don't like them in your life. And then you go to date someone and you go on the first date and it doesn't go well. So you end up going on another date and it doesn't go well. And you end up going on another date and it doesn't go well. And then you turn back and go to, hey, let me talk to this person. We talked for 3 months. I didn't like how they reacted, but I need this energy right now because that's where I felt this at. That's where I felt that at. Now, someone looking on the outside in is going to say, oh my gosh, she's a hoe. She's this and that with their opinion. Now, that person in the situation is being a human being. They're experiencing life. They're transferring energy. And then once they find out, hey, I didn't like how this was going, I'm going back to where I was finding my peace at. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. It doesn't have to be, it can be sexual. Even if it is a sexual thing, it doesn't change or dictate the way a person is. So that person is now a hoe because in this span of her life, this is what she was going through. This is who she experienced. This is how many hoes been turned into housewives.
Okay.
How many the school sluts is somewhere raising 5, 6 kids. Y'all ain't seen her in 10 years because she went and found her peace after she experienced all those different energies and those different times in her life. And those people help her become who she turned into because she was able to explore and learn herself because maybe she didn't know herself like you said. But just because you open yourself up or close yourself off, even if you choose not to and choose to 500 people come at you a day and you say, no, I don't want to talk to anyone, I want to be on my own, that doesn't make you approve. Same way that it doesn't make the other person a hoe. That I separate those things, and I separate those things in relationships as well. Meaning if a person loves a person but they can't find themselves pulling away from other people, like a person that's kind of addicted to that attention, and it doesn't mean they love that person any less. It doesn't mean that they weren't committed to that person. It means they have something else going on in their life. They have this energy that they're contending with, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
I think it's a difference between dating other people, but when you sleeping with a whole lot of people. Because that's a STD, a sexually transmitted disease, not just physical transmitted disease. It's actually, you have so much going on, and like you said, when we was talking about younger days, when you young, you learn, but as you get older, do better. It's real as it can be.
That sounds so simple.
Do better.
But you know what?
Better, get better. Evolve. You know what I'm saying? Evolve. Try to do better to where you. Because once you have kids, once you have kids, it's going to show them how you are. Then they're going to follow in your footsteps 9 times out of 10. Absolutely. That's why I say that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You got to do better for your kids, especially when they're growing up.
Now, on that topic,
yes,
this is how I view something like that. Like if a woman with kids, and this is how it doesn't have bearing on her. If she decides that after she does what she needs to do, takes care of home, is a mother on her spare time, if she wants to sleep with different men, as long as she's protecting herself, that has no bearing on her. Her children see her as a mother. That's what she's doing for them. And when she's on her time, she's doing. So I mean,
kids see.
People see, but it's the same thing. What's the difference between you being this faithful mother at home, doing what you need to do, only being with one man, and then he's out doing whatever? The kids don't see that. They see this great dad.
That's not.
I'm not comparing, but I'm just saying they see what he shows them. Same way they'll see what the mom shows them.
You
know
bring
what I mean?
a lot of energy whenever you sleep with so many different meanings. That's what let me get that right. So you get a lot of energy. It's a lot of transferring back and forth. Like you'll sleep with one today, tomorrow you'll sleep with another, then 2 days later you sleep with another. It's a lot of different energy. Then you wondering why you mad.
But you
wondering why you
there's
angry.
a bottom line though.
You get what
When
I'm saying?
see people doing that though, obviously there's something going on in their life. They're
But
not.
what if it's not though? What if that's just
and
like she
again,
said?
if it's not, they have a right because God give us free will.
Yeah, they do.
And they have a
Right.
right to choose whatever they want to do. I don't have a right to tell you what you do and how to do it, and neither do I have a right to judge you
also,
according to
you're
what
looking
you do.
at it through your eyes.
Right.
And not to cut you off, Turanakah, but you're looking at it through your eyes. Even though it's a transfer of energy, that person, they might be transferring a different type of energy than you have been used to. That person might not ever know anger. There are people in this world that don't know anger. When they have conversation, they don't get any higher than this when they disagree.
Yeah.
We don't know what that's like.
Right.
We can't fathom life like that.
Right.
When we look at their situation, we're going to approach it from a more aggressive place because we're more aggressive. So even though it is a transference of energy, that person might be transferring love to a person who wasn't feeling love. And they come home feeling complete. Like I took care of my family and I took care of that man too. Come home feeling like Superwoman. And then 3 days later she needs it again. So maybe she's going through something, but it's not necessarily a negative thing.
Right. Yeah.
That might be something that and then eventually, hopefully, she learns to pinpoint that missing thing and not have to go get it from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's why
And
we
be
have
able
to
to
get
do
to
it
it.
on
Heal
her
each
own.
other.
But either way,
gotta
it's
heal
your
yourself.
own. But it's your own personal journey with your energy. It's you learn it through dealing with those people. You won't ever know until
unless
that's
you do it, yeah.
that, like Turanakah, you didn't know until you got away from that marriage for so long. You know what I mean? You
I
be
knew.
committed to it.
No, I knew, but I didn't have what it took to come up out of that marriage.
But
I would never say I
you
didn't
had to
know.
go through your journey.
I had to go through my
and
journey.
go through those things.
And my journey is not your journey.
Right,
Your
right.
journey is not her journey.
Right, but
that's why
everybody
as
has
people,
a journey, a
Right.
separate one.
and that's why as people you
The
have
Feminine Perspective every first and third Sundays. Come on, sis, at DKLA House of Fashion. You know your perspective matters. Now seeking new co-hosts for the new season.
When my pray with a diamond in his toe, sucking on his meat like his fancy feet. He be pulling on my dreads like a dog in heat. You a whack ass nigga, no need to.